Good evening guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you like watching my previous videos on OBD setup, on how to pick the right Japanese used mufflers and whatnot. So for today, it's gonna be a long lengthy video, about 10-12 minutes long. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about the different kinds of brakes we have in the market, between single pot, twin pot, 4-pot, and of course 6-pot, which I do not have in this video. So usually motorsport guys, petrol heads, car owners, car enthusiasts, they tell you, okay, hey bro, I'm using twin pot Evo lah. Okay, twin pot Evo, 2 pistons. Oh bro, I'm using 4-pot lah, Mazda RX-7, 4 piston. So these are actually what they're talking about. So the difference with these 3 calipers or 4 calipers are actually very simple. There you see the number of pistons. So 1 piston, 2 pistons, yeah, these are heavy, I can't pick it up with one hand. 1 piston, 2 piston, and 4 piston. I've got 6 pistons. And how this actually works is that the moment you press your brake pedal, okay, brake master pump transfers fluid and force into these pistons. It pushes out, okay, gripping the brake pad onto the rotor. And so it's 1, twice, and 4 times the force. But also piston sizing matters, we'll get into that later. I just want to give you a short reminder that usually people tell me, hey bro, my Suzuki Swift upgrade to 4-pot lah in front, maybe from a Honda FD2R. So my first question to them is, what about the rear? What about the back of the car, the rear brakes? Did you do any upgrades or whatsoever? Answer is usually no. Maybe it's no budget, or too difficult to do, you know. So you have to take good consideration into having the rears being upgraded, because as soon as you upgrade the front, okay, you have so much force in front. The moment this locks up the front disc with so much force and the tire locks up, taking into consideration you don't have ABS or proper brake bias, okay, you are going to be leaving too much work for the rear calipers to actually stop the car. So imagine if you have a car with a 4-pot front and twin pot rears, okay, comparing to a car with 4-pot fronts and single pot rears, okay, slam the brakes on both the car with the twin pot rears will come to a standstill first. So that's just a stern reminder to most of the guys in Malaysia, most of the guys around the world in the States watching this. If you want to go for a big brake kit, BBK in front, you want better brake force, please remember the rears as well, the back, regardless of budget and how you're gonna do it. You want to put drum brakes, it's up to you. You want to go twin pot with a second brake caliper, that's also up to you. Alright, so anyways, back to this 3 caliper, okay. 4 pots are as usual similar to 6-pot. They have 2 or 3 pistons on each side of the caliper, having proper brake distribution, clamping the discs together, okay. Whereas twin pots, pistons are usually side by side unless they're for the rear brakes, each piston on the left and right of the caliper. And single pot, as it is, only 1 piston. You can find this in small cars like local Protons, or most of the OEM cars like a Honda JDM, Honda City, Honda Civic, Toyota Vios, Corolla Altis, you know. And for twin pots, these are a little bit on the rare side. You can find them on SUVs like the Mazda CX-7. You can also find this on the Evo 3, Mitsubishi Evolution 3, okay. As for bigger 4-pot, you can actually find them on bigger cars like Nissan Skyline. I think the Silvia has it as well, I can't remember. Honda Civic Type R, FD2R, Mazda RX-7, the Mitsubishi Evo 789, the later model Subarus, WRX, yes, they have 4 pots like this. In terms of pricing, okay, these 4 pots from Skylines and whatnot and a Mazda R7, they're generally cheap. Let me tell you why. Okay, number one, the weight of the entire caliper. Some are aluminium, some are actually it's just a solid block of metal. Okay, but to note, the important part is that the pistons of the calipers inside are very small. Have a look at this. Let me just bring it up close to the camera. Look at the size of the piston. Comparing to the Evos, okay, these are huge, these are humongous. So these are cheap to begin with, and brake pads are also probably easy to find. If you're gonna be comparing this to aftermarket like AP Racing, Wilwood, Brembo, okay, the pistons are gonna be much bigger, okay, and the caliper might be lighter, and of course, I can't remember what I wanted to say. Yeah, and of course, when I say lighter, as in it's really light, as in I can barely carry this in one hand. Okay, the Brembos are way lighter than this, and so are the AP Racings. You can have them in 6-pot, 4-pot, or even 8-pot configuration for supercars like the R35. Okay, so apart from me having to remind you guys on upgrading the rear, I would like to also remind you on having to pick the right kind of upgrades. Number one, how much does it cost to fit this onto your car? If you own a Proton Wira, you want to install a twin pot onto your car, it's definitely a plug and play. Okay, certain cars are interchangeable, like this is from a Mazda CX-7, this is from a Mazda RX-7. Okay, you can actually see that the holes are pretty much aligned, and there shouldn't be any problems installing this, interchanging between calipers alongside with its designated rotors. Okay, and fitting custom-made CNC brackets like this might be very expensive. They might come up to a couple of $100 to 1,000 over ringgit, you know. So when you pick a caliper like this, take into consideration how much you are going to be fitting it, and most importantly, your brake pads. Okay, on what sort of pads are available for what sort of calipers, in terms of temperature range and pricing as well. You don't want to be using expensive Brembos only to find out that brake pads are gonna cost you 500-600 ringgit. It's gonna be a shocking news in long term. So long term cost is affected by the kind of calipers you choose, and of course, single pots being the cheapest. Okay, Evo twin pots, I'm not sure how widely available are brake pads now. However, if you're going to be retrofitting calipers from a Skyline, from an R33 or R32 or whatsoever, brake pads are widely available. You are talking about various temperatures like EBC, Paget, Hawk, and a few other known brands like TRW that makes OEM and whatnot. So also the last reminder of this video, okay, when you retrofit these brakes, okay, apart from pad pricing and of course rotor pricing, please remember what calipers are these what car are these calipers from, because the moment you fit a retrofitted caliper like this RX-7, okay, into, let's say, whatever car you have, a Mazda Lantis, the moment a workshop tells you that when your brake pads are finished, when you want to change the pads, you have to remember what pads are these, what calipers, what rotors, and you just have to remember. You just have to remember it. It's not the workshop's responsibility to remember what kind of calipers are you running on what car. The last thing they want to find out is that they order a caliper for this car when you're actually running this caliper on your car. Different cars, different makes, CX7, RX7, you know. And of course, if you can't remember, write it down on a piece of masking tape, stick it in your glove compartment, that's all. Also, a reminder for rotors, okay, you may run whatever size deemed fit, 11 inch, 12 inch, 12.4 inch, 355 mm, 320 mm, 330 mm, but also just remember what car are they from, because once you're finished with the rotors, if you warp the rotors, if you crack the rotors, if you thin down the rotors, the workshop will ask you what car did your rotors originally come from. Okay, if you're running a CX, if you're running a Mazda Lentis on RX7 rotors, okay, the last thing you want is a workshop ordering Lentis rotors compared to ordering rotors for an RX7. So it's just a quick reminder. And again, in terms of availability, these calipers, okay, Mazda RX7, its rotors are fairly rare. It's hard to come across now, so you might not want to install this caliper into your car. Just a quick reminder. Also, I mentioned fittability, okay. I forgot to mention that a thickness of 4 pots and 6 pots, some are fairly thick, like this RX7. You can see how thick the front is. I don't think you can actually clear rims like RPF 1s or NT03. You know, well, the Advanced RZ did not have problems clearing this. I probably had to skim this a little bit off. So yeah, I'm sorry if my words are all jumbled up, but I hope that you get the message loud and clear, as it's 4 in the morning now and I can't think straight. The only thing I know is that I have to actually share this information out to you guys, just so you guys know, just so you guys can actually differentiate the difference between calipers and how to fit them, what not to look for, how much extra you have to allocate to fit, and aftermarket parts availability, how rare are they, and whatnot. Yeah, I had to get all this info onto a video just before I sleep, or else, you know, all this will be running through my mind and it'll be a sleepless night. So once again, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you get the message that I'm trying to convey. And if you like what you just watched, do hit the subscribe button on the left of this video. And also, if you have any questions, do comment in the comment section below. Thank you, guys.